Hey guys, welcome back to Night Owl Yoga, the channel where I film nightly yoga videos here in my living room. Tonight we're doing another full body stretch, so a little bit longer than the first one we posted on the channel. And in a nutshell, we're just going to take all of the joints, stretch them in all the directions, make sure they get a little attention, make sure they get a little work and a little love. So if you haven't already, get out your yoga mat and we'll get started. Yeah, just start seated in a cross leg position. And just use a moment to make sure your seat is really set. I'd like to adjust my legs around, make sure everything's nice and flat on the ground. And then lift your spine up nice and tall. Rest your hands on your knees, palms up. And before we can do a full body stretch, we should do a full body breath. So start to breathe really deeply in and out of your nose. And I want you to feel for filling up your whole torso, from your collarbones all the way to your pubic bone. And take an inhale, feel the full torso expand. And exhale, hug your whole torso in towards your midline. Again, inhale, pubic bone to collarbone, expand it. And exhale, hug it all back in. One more. Inhale, pubic bone to collarbone. Exhale, shoulders away from the ears. Start a low belly towards spine, getting that last bit of air out. And then inhale, sit up tall. And some neck stretches. Bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. Reach out through your right hand towards the ground at about 45 degrees. And using the left hand, just nice little pull on the head. Feel for stretching out the side of your neck, and even more than that, your right upper trap. Okay. And notice I'm keeping my breath slow and audible. Yeah, just really giving each breath some time to move. Sure, if we just did the stretch, it'd still be really good for you, but when you get that deep breath going into the neck, that's when the magic happens. And roll your head over to the other side. That's right ear towards right shoulder. Spread out your left hand. Reach it enough towards the ground that you do feel it a little more up there in the side of your neck. And come back to that slow, audible, full body breath. Inhale from pubic bone to collarbones. Exhale, slide your left shoulder blade away from your ear. Inhale, spread your fingers out wide. Exhale, relax your jaw on both sides of your face. And just like that, your neck extends a little further. Wherever you're at, one more full exhale. And then pick your head back up to the middle. Yeah, let's roll out the head a couple of times. And then just one more here seated, a little twist. Bring your right hand to your left knee. Place your other hand behind your back. Big rotation through the spine. Yeah, sit up really tall. And each little piece of the back gets attention. Rotate lower back, middle back, upper back. And rotate your neck as well. Take a deep inhale, expand your side bodies. Exhale, slide shoulders away from ears. Stay for one more. Inhale, whole spine grows taller. And exhale, hug low belly towards your spine. Yeah, and twist. Other side, left hand on right knee, right hand behind your back. Inhale, make your whole spine taller. Exhale, rotate lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. Yeah. Inhale, reach straight up through the top of your head. Exhale, draw your low belly towards your spine. Inhale, inflate your side bodies. Exhale, one more degree of rotation. And then come back to the middle. All right. Feel free just to move your arms for a second. Roll out your wrists, roll out your shoulders. Move your body any way that feels good. Reach your hands over towards the front of your yoga mat. And downward facing dog. Yep, so it's that pose that looks like an upside down letter V. Spread your fingers out nice and wide. Spread your toes wide. A lot of little joints there in the hands and feet. Yeah, and let's start bending both knees at the same time. Yep, so knees back and forth, heels up and down. And each time that the knees bend, we're pushing the shoulders a little closer to the knees. Yeah. Of course, you feel the shoulders stretching there, and it also gets into the upper back. Yeah. All right. Now start to bend one knee at a time. Dip your hips back and forth. Yeah, and we're getting into the lower back. A little more into the hips too. Yeah, one last piece. Let's bend the elbows slightly, widen out the shoulder blades. And move your head around. I can get into the neck right there. Now, down dog really is one of the best poses, so you can get each spot in your spine just by moving a little differently. And ragdoll pose. So, walk your hands back to your feet. Feet are about hip width apart. Put a generous bend in your knees and let your spine hang really heavy. Your arms, you can either grab opposite elbows, or I like to place the back of the hands on the ground next to the feet. Let's sway the hips from side to side. Yeah. And we're just starting to floss into the hamstrings. Feel how that swaying starts to free up tension from lower back. Okay, spread out your toes really wide, right? You want to stretch those little joints in the feet. Okay, let's switch your hands to the back of your head. A little bit of neck traction. And place your hands on the yoga mat. All right, step back into a push-up position, over towards your stomach. And we'll prop ourselves up on the elbows, cobra pose. Yeah, so hands here on the ground. Pull your front bottom ribs away from your pubic bone. Begin to flatten your pubic bone into the mat until you feel low back space open up around the sacrum. And spread out your toes. Press your legs into the ground. And feel for hugging your leg muscles a little closer to the bones. Deep inhale, lift up to your head. Turtle comes out of the shell. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades together. Okay, let's reset the hands next to your chest. Down dog. Yeah, spread your fingers wide. Send hips high and away from the hands till you feel low back lengthen. Exhale, draw low belly in. See now that core strength locks in the low back length. And then send both of your heels towards the ground. Yeah, it's okay if they don't touch, but close as you can get them. Yeah, I'll step your left leg to the midline of your mat. Pick up your right leg. So we've got this three-legged dog. And then just move the lifted leg around a little bit. Move it with the knee bent or with the leg straight. Yeah. And step your right foot forward in between your hands. Lower your left knee to the mat. So we're just starting off with 90-degree angles in the knees, give or take. Wiggle the right foot all the way towards the edge of the mat. Okay. And then send your chest to the ground here on the inside of this knee. You could stay up on hands. Or if your hips are feeling open enough already, we'll get down to the elbows. Okay, spread out your toes. And start to go side to side with your hips. Okay. Feel each time you sway towards the pinky toe edge of your foot, right, you get into that glute. And each time you go onto the big toe side of the foot, you feel your inner thigh. Okay, come back up to your hands. Okay, tuck your toes on the back foot. Pick the knee off the ground. Okay, switch your right hand to the knee. Okay, twist for the spine. So low back twist and middle back, upper back. Lift your chin slightly. Head hangs backwards to soften the neck. Okay. And right hand straight up towards the ceiling. Hug both of your thighs in towards the midline of your mat. Extend your spine away from the hips. So the longer I get, then the more it can rotate. And bring your right hand to the mat. Step back to a push-up position. Slower the better. Lower towards the yoga mat. Inhale, cobra pose. Just for the one breath, lift your chest. Lift your elbows slightly in this one. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread your fingers. Press into the balls of your feet. Send hips high and away from the hands. Send both heels to the ground. And step your right foot to the middle of your mat. Pick up your left leg. It's that three-legged dog again. And I'm just going to move the lifted leg around, kind of exploring that hip space. Oh, and your right foot, send that heel to the ground. You get a little deeper into that hamstring. Step your left foot forward. Right knee to the mat. Just back into these 90-degree angles with the legs. And we're sending the chest to the ground. Maybe hands on the ground, maybe elbows. Pick up the toes on your left foot, spread them out. And then begin to go side to side. And you sway towards the outer edge of your mat, right? You feel the glute. Sway back towards the middle, you feel the inner thigh. And it's been a minute since I mentioned it, right? Let's deepen breath, slow and audible through the nose. Okay. Back to the hands. Pick up your right leg, knees lifted, legs straight. Okay. Inhale your left hand to the ceiling. Okay, we'll get right to it. Exhale, shift weight to your right palm. Lift your chin slightly, head hangs backwards. And feel for using the sides of your core to help the spine rotate. Yeah, bring the left hand to the ground. Step back to a push-up position. Exhale, lower to the mat. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Yeah, we're a little warmer now. Once I'm warmer, I'm going to lengthen out the down dog. So you can either walk your feet backwards or walk your hands forward. Press into the balls of your feet. Send hips high and backwards. And then press so much into the balls of your feet that you can lift your toes. And send inner ankles towards the ground. Yeah, now low lunge. Step right foot forward between your hands. Put your left knee on the ground. Yeah, hands to the knees. And send everything towards the front of the mat. Okay? Hips go down towards the ground, spine lifts up away from it. And feel the front of your left hip lengthening. Okay, we've just got to sit in that. Something about hip flexors makes my breath want to speed up. Let's keep it slow. And draw a low belly in. Support of the core helps hips go a little bit lower. And then a half split. So send your hips backwards. Yeah, we'll pick the toes up off the ground. Yeah, folding over right leg. Start to work into right hamstring. Slow down your breath enough that you can feel your low back expanding each time you breathe. And each exhale, you can sink a little deeper. And walk your hands over to your left. Wide leg forward fold, so we'll pop the hips up in the air. There's a good angle for the camera. Let me turn around. Yeah, so feet are pretty wide. I think you know where we're going. Send the chest towards the ground. And yeah, we're getting into it now. Feel free to move a little side to side. Feel for relaxing your lower back. Feel for rotating your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. And wherever you're at, big exhale, strong pull from the arms. And lift your spine up halfway. Walk your feet towards the front of your yoga mat. And step back. Slower the better. Lower to the ground. Inhale, cobra pose. Nice upper back bend. Exhale, down dog. Stay here, one full breath in. Take a rinsing breath out. And we'll run it back on the other side. Step left foot forward. All right, knee to the ground. Yeah, hands up here to your knee. Yeah. Deep breath in and out of the nose. Yeah, a couple of vinyasas in there tonight. Moving a little quickly. Can we keep the breath slow anyways? Lift a little taller in your spine. Soften shoulders away from ears. And let it get nice and heavy into this right hip flexor. Half split, send your hips backwards. Yeah, lift your toes up off of the ground. Spread your toes wide, yeah? I want my foot to look like a hand. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen your lower back. Exhale, send your torso towards your leg. Relax the back of your neck. Relax the sides of your neck. Feel for sending your left hip towards the back of the mat. Walk your hands over to the right. Wide leg forward fold. Good thing to make note of here. My heels are a little bit wider than the toes. Just that slight inner rotation of the legs, I can get a lot lower. It's up to you. Feel free to move. Or just feel free to lean into it and let it breathe. Notice if you lean more weight into the toes, everything has to stretch a little more. Take a deep inhale, feel low back expand. Exhale, send your chest to the space between your knees. Send sitting bones a little higher. Now lift up halfway. Exhale, walk your hands towards the front of your mat. And we'll step straight back to down dog. And we'll reground it. Press into palms, press into feet. Pigeon pose. Bring your right knee forward. Send the knees over here on the right edge of the mat. Hard to see, but got my shin bone laying across the mat. A little bit less than parallel to the front of the yoga mat. And down we go. I like to take a pick stop on my elbows. Send your left leg as far back behind you as it'll go. And little by little, you can start to work your chest lower to the ground. Yeah. Your pigeon pose doesn't have to look like this. As long as you're getting a good stretch on the outer right thigh, right? It's fair game. So, you are free to roll a little to the right or a little to the left. It is fine if your hips way up in the air, as long as we're opening this space. Okay, I've said enough. Just slow down your breath. Breathe deep enough that you feel it in low back. Hands on the ground. Step back to your down dog. And pick up your right leg. And just drain all the blood out of it. Let it rush back to your head. Or to your heart, rather. Yeah. Pigeon on the other leg. So bring the left leg forward. Gas again. Left knee's all the way to the left edge of the yoga mat. Chin across the mat. Other leg. Honestly, as far back there as I can get it. Down we go. All right, back into breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, draw your stomach towards your spine. Inhale, relax your neck. Exhale, widen your shoulders, let your chest get heavy. Inhale all the way to your left hip. Exhale. Inhale, let both your hips expand. Exhale, let all your bones get heavy. And let your bones melt through your flesh into the floor. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. One last time, downward facing dog. And pick up your left leg nice and high. Visualize the blood in that leg rushing back to your heart. Yeah, have a seat on your yoga mat. And we'll call it here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting your body opened up. Moved all the joints a little bit in every direction that I could think of. Moved a little bit faster tonight, picked up the pace. Let me know, guys know if you liked that. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and until the next time, peace.